the prayer. So today I called on my dad, which his video is not working, but he's a handsome fella. But I called on my dad today to do the prayer. And I know he's on here. He was on here earlier. So Dad, if you want to just say a prayer and whatever you want to share with us, acknowledging the land, this gathering, whatever it is you want to share.
Oh, Chunksy Wopshala. I'm sitting here waving my hands, but Amitakepi. I can't bet you kill wašté chichapelo. Chante washe na pechius papelo yuha. Chaje mitcha John Eagleshield Senior. Lakho chaje ki Wichhózani yatapika mielo. Mija lo. Ia was la makhoche ki. Mamli chik ala wichoti amata. Lila. Nahakse iomaki. Mija excel Wichhózani hemata. Matuenishni, matakunishni kas. Moshilak say. Ahina. Bocheki alcohol. Chanke tua dona lakotaki ha namachup. Mosheki. Ort konkashila wa kankanka. Khate topan ojimak namachup. Ampetuki aket khatala. Ampetuki luta namakhan. Konkashila troke wa shelkup nalila wopsra kinija. Petuki le omniche wašté uŋyúhapi champele ahitumapo. Oyate ki nahaksila niche blo chanket konkashila. Makaka le ahitumapo. Makaka le wa ushila yuha. Tua chihanta shal woki wichaiku. I bet you waji hetja. Wičhózani Wiconi haska wichaiku. Oyate ki lila washako lakin. Wopsla chija. Mija le olon waji guhala. Trahashi chante ohiteka aftali ha. Mija wocheke yupia kagapo. Enhakulila wopsi chapo. That olon ki he. Oh ya teke kola trewa khila oma wani wa elo ai makho teke ota hena oki tawapi wana wani telo ai. The simple words are, my friend. When I travel this land, when I roam this country, I cherish all of my people, my family, my friends, my relatives. But this land, which was once ours, is no more.
Oh, Peoria below, gosh.
Oh my out there. All right. Well, thank you so much, Ate, for the prayer and the song. You know, lump in my throat.
Beautiful. They were beautiful. Thank you.
So we just wanted to show you guys a few things. Today's agenda, it's really open today. We're going to talk a little bit about the domains, which sounds really technical and professional, but it's really just some of the things that have been outlined through conversations over the past year or since November, so almost a year. And then we're going to try to line them up with some of the things that the tribe has been saying that they want and would like to work on. And then we're going to be discussing birth and end of life care and things that you all would like to see, have seen, have experienced, witnessed, and then we'll do the closing and the door prizes. So hopefully today we can meet some of the needs from yesterday, where I'm really sorry that if some people felt like they weren't heard, or if it was a weird situation where you felt like you were left to facilitate a breakout group, hopefully that pushed everybody to just step out of their box and just start sharing. But I want to try to screen share right now and show you guys a few of the features that we have. I wonder if you have to stop. Let me try once, Tasha. Okay, so I'm going to screen share really quick. Cool. Now I don't know how to make it big.
Hover over like your toolbar on the bottom. Is there a zoom? No?
No, it like all went to the side here. No.
How about if you put your fingers on your mouse pad, because it's a Mac, it should, like, you know, when you spread it out, it should show all your screens and where the controls went.
No. Okay, so anyways, I'm trying to show you guys the way it would look on your screen. Okay.
I think if you change your gallery view so you don't see so many of us.
Ooh. Okay, so at the very bottom, this is not showing you guys a screen share at all, so it's kind of tough. I think it's at the very bottom. If you click on participants,
Are you trying to get your toolbar up? Is that what you want in the Zoom one?
I'm trying to just show them what the whole screen would look like, because you guys just see my computer right now, right? Like my screen.
Can you see up on the top, is there a green bar up there? No? Or is that just mine? Okay, never mind. I think that's just my screen.
Hold on, let me see how. Sorry guys.
Try unsharing, Elena. Try unsharing and then share. Press share again, but make sure you click on exactly what it is you want to share. You may have some options there.
See, so when I click to share the desktop, then it makes my Zoom go way up instead of having it be the full screen. Okay, let me try to walk you guys through this. All right, so I'm not sharing right now, but if you click on the reactions down at, or the participants, if you click on your participants, so if everybody can go click on their participants, way at the bottom, there's mute, video, and then there's security, and then participants. You click on that, there's these options right underneath the participants. Can you guys all see those where it says yes, no, go slower, go faster? If you click on the more option, hey, where'd the raise hand go?
Hey. Oh shoot, yeah, I was just gonna try to share too, now mine went away.
Yeah.
Hang on. Tell me if you guys can see this.
Oh, there we go. Camila did it. Do you guys have a raise hand option? Because now it's not in mine. I don't know if it's because I'm a co-host.
What did I do? I didn't do
Yeah,
anything.
you raised your hand. Hey. Yes, you need something? But we...
Can you guys see my screen or no?
No, it's just blue. But if you guys all have it, because it's not on mine right now, More? No, it's not in mine. Maybe it's because we're co-hosts. I don't know. But if you all can click on the raised hand option, and Pearl just said, if you're using your cell phone, swipe to the right or left, you should have the same features. But if you can all click the raise hand option, cool. So everybody has it. Keep it up so we can make sure. Albert, can you get it? Mom, Dad, can you guys get it? Carrie? Kumi Winona?
I'm trying. I'm on an iPad and I'm new to it, so I'm just kind of snooping around.
Okay, cool. So it's underneath the participants. There's these options where you can say yes or no, or go fast. Yeah, there's like coffee. That means you need to go have a break. And also just remember, we're encouraging each of you to just do whatever you need. You can step away. But if we call on you, then geez, just kidding.
And then if you can't get that, I mean, still feel free to just, you know, at any time you can stop us if you have a comment and you don't know how to figure out the raise your hand thing. You know, you can always just speak up too. So we just want to give everybody a chance to speak when they want to.
Yes, we had we just had a lot of different comments yesterday that they would have liked to have had a say or speak up. And I know that sometimes we just get carried away with talking, and so today we want to be more mindful about looking at this and making sure that if people have their hands raised or if they're asking a question, and also if you can utilize the chat. So right beside participants, there's this chat box and you can type in there a question or just say I have a question or whatever, and we'll monitor this to make sure that we can call on somebody or ask you all questions. So yeah, so that's that option.
So I'm gonna clear all the raised hands now so that we'll know for sure when somebody raises their hands.
Okay, and you can lower your own hand if you want. But this is an option, and I'll be sure to keep an eye on it. So if you do have a question as we're going through these things, then we'll just call on you all because we want this to be more interactive. And I know yesterday I would just talk, and then the ones who are vocal would cut me off. And so I was like, man, we have to figure this out because otherwise I'm just talking away. But today we actually made it more dialogue than yesterday. Yesterday we really shared a lot more about the clinic and about where it started and the mission and some of the conversations we've been having. And so it was a little more structured, but today will be a lot more dialogue. And so do you guys want to do the check-in before or after we do the grounding?
I think before would be good. I mean, just to give everybody a chance to kind of reflect a little bit on yesterday and share anything.
Okay. So this morning we wanted to just have it open. If anybody wanted to share something from yesterday that we are going to have breakout sessions so you can share in your smaller groups as well. But if anybody had any comments or in any way that they felt yesterday, if they want to talk about things that you said in your responses or your surveys, if anybody wanted to just share or have this time, because we want you all to know that this clinic that's being created, it's going to be on Standing Rock. We have a website that we've been working on, and this gathering is just one of many that will go into the co-creation of it. So it's not going to be something that is like trying to be another IHS or anything like that. We want it to be created by the community based off the Lakota values and lifeways and what it is that we would like to see being utilized in the community to take care of the health needs of our people. And we've also been working with the Mini Wiconi Nakichiji Iowa, which is another program and organization that was started at the camp that I'm very passionate about, to develop project-based programs that the students can work on health needs of the communities and get credits based off their projects. And so there's just all these different interminglings of beautiful work that's happening, and we just are trying to figure out how to continue to bring those out within our communities, because there are a lot of people who have the knowledge of plants and healing, and even within this space right here, like I think of Jeb Khanshi Tipi, who has all these different products of soaps and face creams and just different oils that could be helping our people also. And so how can we give our people access to those things? And so that's kind of what we're talking about. So a lot of the objectives and things yesterday were really professionally organized. We think they are, but to just kind of give an outline of the things we're trying to do. But we also understand that we don't want anybody to be turned off by anything, or to feel like this is something that is just going to be another IHS or another, we want to work with them for sure, and other programs. But so anyway, so if anybody has any questions or comments, don't be afraid to just jump in or write in the chat. So yeah, so anybody, if anybody wants to start? Okay.
Yeah. Namaste.
All right, yes. Yeah.
Oh. Misha taku kewa chino. Wichake Wichhózani. Back in 1993, I became the director for our CHR program, and one of our goals, or one of our activities, was to get our people involved with Palaniwakpa area. We had a father-son retreat opposite Sitting Bull Camp, and all the fathers and sons and grandfathers and grandsons, they all showed up, and including my sons, and almost all of those young men accidentally fell in the river 5 or 6 times each. But one of the things was it was all men, and one afternoon this car came in, and inside there was Mrs. Josephine Hollow, and this was a father and son retreat, so we were discussing, all right, which one of you are man enough to tell Mrs. Hollow she can't be here? And no one stepped forward. So we invited her over. We had a chair for her to sit down. We thanked her for being there with us, and she said she had a few things to say because her son and her grandsons were also there. So she gave us a history of the Bullhead area, where the original town used to be. She named all the families that settled there. She named a lot of families that are no longer here with us. And we had a good discussion. She did all the talking, and it really made all of us feel good. But at the end, she said in Lakota, "Hechel lena oyate ki nipikte." And the closest I can come to translation was that in all that you do so in such a manner that the people will live. And I look at this gathering like that, and I look at all your gatherings and your meetings prior to this, that's exactly what you're doing. You're doing things in such a manner that the people will live. And since then, since '93, that expression has been on posters, flyers. I was in California once, and here it is out there. I was down in Oklahoma, New Mexico country, and again, that expression was down there. So when you do things like that, people take notice. And I want to take this time to thank each of you for all the things that you do. Fácil.
Does anybody else have any comments about how they feel, what they got from yesterday? Or you could save it for the small groups. I keep watching this. No hands. I'm good with silences. Just kidding. All right. Well, we're gonna get into an exercise, and again, just sticking with the ways that our people do things. We've asked one of our board members and planning team members if she could start us off with a little bit of a breathwork exercise and a story. So Pearl Walker Swaney, if you could take it away.
Hey, honey, wašté. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for being here. It's a beautiful day, and I'm grateful to be here. For those that were here yesterday, I forgot to mention my dad is Jim Walker and my mom is Sharon. So I'm originally from Standing Rock, and when I was about 6 years old, we moved to Leech Lake, and so that's where I spent the most of my upbringing. And when I became a mother, that's what brought me into birth work and being a doula, and learning more and more, probably every year, about that space and that type of work. And so I have had a couple teachers that have really taught me a lot about the medicines and the ceremonies, the sacredness of birth. From pregnancy to the birth of the baby, to delivery of the baby, to that first year of their life and beyond that. And one of them is based here in St. Paul, but she's from Bois Forte. And so a lot of my teachings around birth work come from the Ojibwe perspective. But I know there are some similarities with other nations in birth spaces, because it's always tied back to our creation stories. It's always tied back to our original instructions. And something that really resonated with me from Doreen Day is that birth and death are like this. For those not on camera, I have my fingers crossed. They're together like that, twisted, because we understand that there's this balance in the universe that's greater than us when it comes to birth and death. And that's the balance that keeps things in tune, is when life is coming to earth, there's a life somewhere that's going back to the ancestors. So there's this really beautiful teaching we learned from Doreen Day about, it's called The Beginning Before the Beginning, where we know that from the stars, there's certain constellations or a certain path that we travel to before we get to choosing our parents, before we get to choosing our mother's womb as our home. before we get to Earth. So it's a very long journey before pregnancy, and it's called the beginning before the beginning. But I'm sharing that because the teachings I've learned about that are that it's so sacred, that entire journey, and it doesn't leave you, it stays with you. So you come from the stars, you take that long journey, you choose your parents, you grow inside your mother's womb, you're born, and then when it's your time to leave, it's that same sacredness that goes with you back to the stars. So with our focus today on birth work and breastfeeding and that type of space, something we do, something we do with the mothers and the families is breath work, because we understand that breath, that first breath, and that you have when you come earthside is so special. And we know that our our breath is a way we move energy within our bodies. There's a lot of benefits to breathing deeply, and it's a way that helps to prepare baby to come earthside in a good way, putting that energy into bringing baby here. And there's a lot of other teachings around breath and air and how it's sacred. So this is something that you know, I don't need to be a doula to do this breath work, you know, but this is something I wanted to share as a grounding that you can do in your own lives. And so before we get into that, I want you to take note of how you feel right now, how your body feels, how your, if you've got any tension, your emotions, just take note of how you feel right now. And we're gonna take some breaths together. I'll guide you through a few, and then I'll have you do some own breaths on your own. You can close your eyes, you can turn off your video, whatever you feel comfortable with. So I'll take a deep breath in for maybe a count of 3, and I'll hold it, and then I'll let it out slowly for a count of 3. So we'll do that a couple times together. So get comfortable, take a deep breath in and blow it all the way out, and then breathe, inhale, hold it, and exhale. Same thing, inhale, hold it, exhale. Do that like 5 more times on your own, at your own pace. Coming and it's okay to let your thoughts wander, and do what you can, but just take note of, use your breath as your guide and what works for you. Okay, come back when you're ready. Now notice how you feel. You know, likely there's a little bit of a difference there. You might feel a little more alert, might feel a little more open. And in our doula spaces, that's what we use to help our moms remember that our bodies are vessels, and moving that air through, that energy through, is a good way to prepare for baby to come. But after words too. After baby's born, it's a good way to remember our bodies are vessels and to remember that they're sacred and honoring that through our breath. So that's all I had to share with you. And thank you for allowing me to share some of those teachings with you, because again, I've only been doing this for about 4 years, and I'm still young in doula work and have a lot to learn. But I hope you use breath work in your daily lives. Miigwech, or Pilamiaya.
Can you use both? Use all the languages in here? Thanks, Pearl. I know when I very first started to go to like counseling or anything, one of the things that I noticed right away is how much I hold my breath. And I guess I didn't even notice it until anytime I've ever spoken or whenever I've gotten invited to speak somewhere, I would be waiting to go on stage or something, and I'd be like, oh, couldn't stop yawning. And my therapist is like, you're holding your breath, you don't breathe, you need to be learning how to do that breath work. And so all my life, my little short adult life until now, I didn't realize like how much I held my breath. And so it might seem like a funny exercise, but since I've been meditating, or even now since I'm due any day now, doing more hypnobirthing, breath work, it's really helped me, and I don't feel like I'm short of breath all the time like I used to. And so I know, like, I don't know if my dad was on there doing the breath work, but it's a good exercise, Dad. But I'm gonna
Luna raised her hand, so we'll just give her.
Oh, good. Yeah, I'm glad you're keeping.
I just wanted to comment that I just wanted to thank Pearl, because I realized that I really haven't. I've been trying not to breathe for the last 3 days because the smoke is so hazardous. But I was just immediately really dizzy after that exercise, but just feel the consciousness returning to I've been so blocked up and tight, and it was just like a release. I just wanted to thank you. That's all.
Yes. Anybody else want to share how they felt during that? I know it's something, it seems so simple, but I didn't realize how much breath work affected me. Or the lack of breath work, I guess.
Rupa.
Hi, I'm sorry I'm late. I'm actually managing the fires with my children as well. But I did want to say thank you for that breathing. There's a lot of really interesting data and research around breath work in my culture. It's called pranayama, and the essential force of life. But what we find is that it stimulates the vagal nerve, and so does chanting and singing. And humming, but all of these things in the back of the throat can stimulate the vagal nerve, and that nerve exerts a tone in the body that calms inflammation. And a lot of the diseases that colonized people are experiencing most intensely because of, I believe, the forces around us, the structural forces, are diseases where inflammation is playing a major role. So this work of breath work and chanting and singing is actually extremely beneficial for our health. So thank you for including that.
Awesome. Thank you, Rupa. Anybody else? Any of our elders want to tell us how that made you feel if you participated in it? Tuli Loretta, Tuli Winona, Tuli Renee. Also, don't feel pressured. Sorry, guys.
Chumchi. When Sugar Pro was talking about that, I was thinking, she's talking about my granddaughter, Kai Lynn. I remember I was at a meeting. It was in Aberdeen, and I got a call from your mother. She said, "You better get here." So I drove through a blizzard to be there at her birth. And when I got there, she was already here, but when I held her and that sweet baby breath was on my face, I had to take a moment to think about all of this, and I named her Kaonia Wiconi, her sacred breath. And I see that she is thriving, her mother is thriving, becoming better human beings, better relatives, better partners. And it's something so simple that you're talking about, you know, the way you breathe and all that's associated with it, you know, what are you thinking? I just wish that all young people can be part of that, to be an active part. And again, like Mrs. Hollow said, so that the people will live. And again, I just want to thank each and every one of you for causing this to happen.
Okay, so right now then we're going to get into a breakout session and just let you all check in with each other. We're going to have this one be longer than 2 minutes. And then just let us know how it feels. If you feel like you don't want to be in there, at the very bottom you can leave group, and then it'll just bring you back to the main group. But we kind of wanted you to think about what we talked about yesterday, thinking about the breath work, thinking about what's on the agenda today. If you were able to look at it, I'll share it again. But today we're going to be discussing again birthing and kind of the full spectrum of it. Before mom's pregnant, like Pearl was talking about today, how we have a path before birth, before we even choose our moms, before, you know, the star path that we take. And then as mom's pregnant, or as the moms, what the community did long time ago, what practices we carry today, breastfeeding. I know when like I was younger, that wasn't something that I would have done if my mom didn't force me, because I was a teenager whenever it happened. And so we have a lot of teen moms on our res, and don't know if they have the same kind of support. So that's something that we're trying to encourage. And then after, because I think a lot of times we focus on the baby being born, and that's exciting and it's beautiful and life, but then the mom gets, you know, almost forgotten afterwards sometimes, because we don't carry a lot of those practices forward, of taking care of the moms and the families for weeks and months after. And so, yeah, so we're going to be discussing that. And then also end of life care. I know that that's something that Standing Rock has been working on for a while, trying to figure out, you know, how we're going to take care of our elders towards the end of life. And right now, I know a lot of elders take care of grandchildren, and there's just a lot of different things that that are still cultural. But anyway, so just trying to discuss all of that today. And then thinking about how you felt yesterday. So today's check-in will be, how are you this morning? What is resonating with you from yesterday? And why do the conversations we're having matter to you and the communities you live and work in? I put them in the chat, so whenever you go over to the breakout groups, it should still be in the chat. And I know there were a few groups where there was nobody facilitating, and so if it feels awkward, or if I don't know, if you're bashful, or if people are having a hard time, then just come back to the main group and we'll figure it out. But for the most part, we're trying to have at least a board member or somebody within each group to kind of keep the conversation going. And then again, I'm just calling on all the people who feel inclined to do it, to take notes and record if you can, or if this is just a check-in and you don't want to be recorded, then you can have those conversations in your small group as well. But it's open. It's going to be about 20 minutes or so. Tasha will come in and see if you need more time. And remember, you can always leave the group. So just trying to take in everybody's suggestions from yesterday. Anybody have any questions or want to clarify anything? You can raise your hand or just pop in.
Okay, I think I have everybody set to go. They're a little bit larger just because we have to make sure everybody has a facilitator. So again, like you said, if you don't feel comfortable or if it's not working out, just pop back into the main room and we'll get you set with a new group. Okay. Hi, Diane.
Hi, Tasha.
I had you by yourself. I didn't know how to not send you to a room, so I left you by
Yes.
yourself intentionally.
I figured as much. I waited a minute and then I thought I'd come back here and just hang out
Perfect.
in case I need it. So, yeah.
and a farm that can essentially rewrite the narrative and use words that are significant and important to us can really impact who we are as individuals, but even how our community continues to grow and develop. And I think that becomes a piece where it is really helpful in the preventive aspect when we think of medicine, as opposed to more reactive. Because if we have, and the example was like just the word out of wedlock, you know, that when you say that, it starts to get people to start thinking of all these, you know, reasons why, right? And that shouldn't be. It's like if the person made a choice to have a child, then and even if they didn't make a choice and they became pregnant, that word's not ours. And so with that, then it can raise some things in that new parent, or that parent. It can raise some things in that child that can emotionally impact them as they continue to grow and develop. If we were, you know, just using our own traditional ways in terms, then that there may not be that emotional impact to them as it would be if, let's say, we're accepting of terms that aren't our own. I don't know if that's kind of, it makes me feel like I'm a little bit rambly in there, but I really appreciated him sharing what that a lot of those words mean, and how they impact our growth. And so that's my thought.
No, that's beautiful. Thank you for sharing. And I think it's true. Like Tasha was saying, we grew up seeing our parents do a lot of these, a lot of the things that we see in our communities today. We've seen them organize, and we've seen the revitalization and reclaiming of our ceremonies and our Sundance growing up. But still, there are things that we have to continue to unlearn and recall, because through this whole process of me even going through preparing for a home birth, I remember my Lekshi talking about makagana and how that's like the water mixing with dirt, and that's like the first thing that a baby touches and things like that. And when I first started talking to my midwife who's on here, I was like, I don't know, this might sound funny, but this is what I want to do. Hey, you know, like kind of shamed out about it, but then it's such a beautiful thing. And so since this whole process of like over these months, 9 months of like, okay, this is what I'm in, this is a ceremony, and then having the session that we just had with my tui Winona, like grounding me through this virtual setting, you know, that we can do that. We can be calling on our family to not, who aren't shamed out to talk about things like that. Like, go take your shoes off, go ground yourself outside. And so yeah, so I think that's really beautiful. I didn't think you sounded rambly. But Tani, did you want to say something? I see your hand raised.
Hi, we had a really great, powerful conversation in our session as well, and I'm not going to get into sharing any of those stories, but Rupa actually shared a really amazing quote with us that I wrote down. Awesome. She had heard this quote that said, "There's only two types of people in the world, women and their children." And I really, really liked that. I thought that was so beautiful. And, you know, we look at the difference in a patriarchal society versus a matriarchal society. And I just thought it was really powerful. And I kind of want to get that tattooed somewhere or hang it up on my wall maybe instead. But so thank you.
Awesome, thank you. And for me, it was cutting out a little bit, but I think we got the gist of what Tani was saying. Thank you for sharing that. I think it's true that we need to be coming back to the matriarchal. Denise Gilbert, did you want to share? I know you didn't have your hand raised, but somebody had one of our members said he wanted to share.
How do I do that? No, I didn't really. I was just in the middle of thanking everybody for creating this space for us to explore this topic, because I was forming some ideas for helping to support our young women in our communities and encouraging them to take better care of themselves while they were pregnant, because that's a role that I've been playing in my family with my nieces and helping to take care of grandbabies and all of that. So I was just talking about that when our session ended. So thank you all.
Beautiful, thank you. And we don't want anybody to leave and not feel like they got to say what they needed. And so please, if you feel anything, oh, and I just got the quote, that's beautiful. We have the chat option, people are writing in there. Tani said there are two types of people in the world, women and their children. So if you guys didn't catch that, it was breaking up on my end. But if anybody else wants to share.
Tosha.
Okay.
I beg to differ on that statement about matriarchal. And I know me and Tashi are we're really in the minority in this discussion, but it's been a discussion point for in the past since No Dapple days, and it's really come to the forefront now. But again, when we look at that concept of matriarchal and patriarchal, it's really a concept of division, because as a female and a male, we each have our responsibilities in the development of our children. And we each play a role in the conception of that child. You cannot have children without a male. Of course, nowadays you can get a test tube baby, but in the concept of Lakota, you cannot have a child without a male. So we each need to accept that responsibility. And that's where the failings of the male is really enhanced when they're pushed out of the picture, because we have a responsibility to that mother and to that child. And once we develop that, then there is no matriarchal or patriarchal. It is equal responsibility. And when you look at history, that is what it's all about. And we just put it into play at Tony's funeral, where the women relatives handled all the food. And the oldest of the women relatives said, "Now it's up to you. How are you going to do the service?" So I've always heard that growing up, that they would provide the most essential, would that be food. And then we would practice to use the ceremony that was appropriate to whatever the gathering was about. So again, we need to get away from that colonized thinking. In my opinion, is get away from this matriarchal and patriarchal thought process. It's a divisive words. It's a divisive wording that is being used. That is that's where that's coming from. Again, I don't see it like that. I wasn't raised like that in my home, from my mom and my dad, my aunt, my uncle, grandmothers and grandfathers. It wasn't like that. I believe I was privileged, one of the privileged few, to come through a functional environment where the females and the males each had the responsible roles, and they did that. So I in turn taught my children that aspect of it too. So I would hope that we would get away from that terminology of matriarchal and patriarchal.
All right, does anybody else have anything to share?
Can I respond to that? Because I do, Virgil, honor what you were saying and the wisdom of that, and also understanding that these binary modes of thinking are colonized. That quote came up in our dialogue in conversation with how, in response to how birth has been so taken away from women's power, our power to create new life. And of course, we can't do that without the man. But Western medicine has really demeaned women, whether you're a female doctor or a male doctor. It has become a part of removing women from their sense of sacred, the sacred practice of bringing life through their bodies, through our bodies. So I just wanted to give context to that, that absolutely what you're saying about not falling into this hellscape of patriarchy, matriarchy, male, woman, the binarism of colonial mentality is crucial. So thank you for adding those words.
Thank you,
Rupa.
Thank you, Rupa. You know, something came to mind, my nieces and those listening. It was probably 10, 11 years ago where my sister-in-law, her baby that was yet to be born had died within her womb. The umbilical cord had wrapped around her child, and there was no heartbeat. And the niece, Toja, and yet the doctor was there. So, wow, we induced labor, and we're waiting for this. We're waiting for the baby to come out. It should be about another 10 to 12 hours. And I grew quite upset at that doctor at what was then Med Center 1, which is now Sanford. And I said, you know, you have all the technology and expertise available to take that child out now, knowing full well that that little baby is not alive. Why are you making her suffer like this? I said, why are you doing this to her? I hope you're not doing it because you're enjoying it. So with my younger brother, I had to step into the role as the older brother and confront this doctor who was a male at that, you know, the male, the pediatrician. So, you know, we all still have our roles in life. And that for me, when Rupa said that, it took me right back to that time. And I was quite angry. And so, but the child was stillborn when baby Alan came. And she was remembered in the obituary. So I just wanted to share that too, that we all have our roles to play. And if we know what roles we're going to play and what responsibilities we have, then we have to step forward and do them. Thank you.
Thank you.
Can I add something, Elena?
Wait, our Tumi Winona had her hand raised first, sorry, and then go back to you, but I didn't see who it was.
I just wanted to add on these roles and having to do with the labels of matriarchy and patriarchy. We're talking about a society as a whole. You know, okay, I'll talk specifically just on the Standing Rock Reservation. Like, for instance, my grandmother, she was, her mother died early in her lifetime, and so she was raised in a lot of the school systems. I'm sure she was influenced by my great-grandfather, Makopia Noel Flying, but also, you know, she had all of these dominant society ideas imposed upon her. And the dominant society came in with the ideas of males being, you know, males being the dominant ones. So to say that we're not influenced by that, I mean, our Lakota culture, I really have a feeling that we did give equal representation to male and female. And you know, it's just the idea that, you know, when we're done here, we're going to go turn on the TV. We're going to, you know, be out in the world and read and see all these things online or whatever. And those ideas influence us. They come in. And the thing is that we are influenced by male dominance, even to this day. I'm going to go run into town and, you know, that's the whole thing I confront. I see that in my life all the time. And I'm saying that my grandmother, Eva, and then probably my mother, they were both influenced by these ideas of male dominance and male being the one that, so yes, we do have that within our culture of having more of an equality and understanding the roles, but we're so far removed from that now that we have to adjust and find the balance and harmony within that again. So we're coming from a point of male dominance now. Mm-hmm. We're having to readjust and find the harmony. So that's why you have a lot of people that feel frustrated by the male dominance. That's what I wanted to say. We're working at it, and I think we're doing a fantastic job, you know?
Thanks, Tony. I agree. And I think that's kind of why matriarchy like continues to be talked about, because we are trying to find a balance, and we're not saying all our Lexies and my husband Redrock's a great man. We're not saying that it's not, that they're not needed. It's just we're finding a balance, and we're trying to figure out how to bring women back into that. Okay, so Judith, sorry, I know you wanted to share something.
Yeah, oh, no worries. I'm glad that actually Winona came in and shared her piece as well, because what I was going to really kind of talk about, and this is something that I'll visit with my sister on from time to time, but our dad, Ellen, and our dad, Buddy, but Gip, he used to say that the roles were really changed for the Indian man. And my dad was the oldest one in his family, and he got sent to boarding school really young, like a lot of our families, for those of us who are in here. And I used to always think, and I would tell our sister, like, you know, how wise our dad was, even though, and this is the Western kind of thought, even though he didn't get a chance to go to college, right? So when I would say that when I was younger, I would stop myself and say, you don't bring wisdom in because of your academic learning. It's based on those experiences and your ability to reflect, and, you know, your compassion and humility, and, you know, all these different factors. But he would say, like, the role has changed for the Indian man. And it changed with, you know, being put on reservations and things that they could no longer do. And that role had changed for Indian women as well. And when we're talking about like this traditional birthing versus like being born like in a hospital and so on and so forth, I think that role aspect has changed as well. And I think in that role aspect, with that change, there's been kind of this loss of voice. Of being able to advocate for yourself, and being able to say, like, you know, this is the kind of birth I want, this is the plan that I'm going to have, and this is how I want it to evolve. And yeah, things are going to happen the plan may not work the way you want it to, but to be able to actually voice that. And so I think in really understanding our roles as both Indian women and men, as Lakota and Dakota Indian, Dakota women and men, I think that once we can kind of put things back in our own terms, I think that plus how we choose to educate our next generation and educate ourselves as well and be continued lifelong learners. I think once we do all of that, then we can start seeing again some positive changes happening within our communities. Or enhanced changes. But I think the role piece is really significant.
Yes, thank you, Judith. Does anybody else want to share anything? Any comments?
Nawa, this is Kelly.
Hey, Kelly.
Hi, from MHA, from Newtown. I just wanted to share something too. I mean, when you were talking, when Virgil was talking about the place of a man and a woman, and how he felt, and how the world has changed, because if it wasn't becoming a male dominant, women had long time ago, we owned everything, and we were part of the ceremonies and stuff. And this is a perfect example. We're trying to bring back some of the ceremonies that were forgotten because the women were pushed aside for so long, you know. And I just wanted to share that because it's important to me, and I'm learning my voice and how to articulate and become a better speaker, and be in front of people and say the right things, because I have a lot of things on my mind all the time, but to organize it and be able to speak, because we weren't allowed to for so long. And I just wanted to share that. I mean, if we were speaking out of turn or out of being upset. And now, you know, women are being heard all over the world now because we're taking places of senators and medicine women and just beautiful things like that. And just wanted to share that. I got to be a part of a birth this year, and it brings so much spiritual knowledge to me, and I just want to keep growing as a woman, and I'm older now, and I'm 48, and it took me all this time to find myself and be able to, and so to even watch you, Elena, how you are, you're out there and you're doing all the work that you dreamt of, and there's people that you could reach out to. I had so many ideas in my lifetime, and there wasn't people that I could reach out to, and so to watch you be able to have these ideas, and all of you, and live these dreams at a young age, it's awesome. And definitely probably awesome to Virgil too, because I'm sure, I remember when I was a young girl, I would be thinking, I had so many ideas that nobody would listen to. And to watch you just coming together. I just wanted to say that much, and I have somebody trying to call me next.
Man, thank you, Kelly. I'm glad you're here too. Kelly will actually be helping me also during the birth, and it's beautiful because I think in the beginning of this I had no idea where to start. And I'm hoping that there's a bunch of you in here. I know, like Tumi Winona shared how she was able to have a home birth, and for me, like that was just unheard of. My mom, you know, worked at IHS, and my mom was even scared, and my mom delivered babies in ambulances, and I was just like, okay, Mom, I need to trust my body, all right? Don't make me scared. But yeah, I don't know if anybody else has anything else to say. I think that we're all learning, we're all growing, just like Lexi has been saying through the whole time, that we have to decolonize our minds, and we have to keep thinking forward, and that they're not old ways. They're not, these are ways that have always been here, but they're shifting back so that we could be walking with them today. And it's beautiful. And I'm so thankful that all of you took your Saturday to be here. Oh, Chua Kamimila, if you want to share, I see your hand, trying to keep up.
I said it in the group, but I feel like we're circling around, and you know, I just want to like emphasize these are my own thoughts, my own theories, things that I've been like, you know, my mind has been circumambulating around. So you know what? And again, I'm not a fluent speaker, so correct me if I'm wrong, but my dad told me that the way you say decolonize in Lakota is ki Lakota. And then if you pull up your little dictionary on your phone, it says another way to translate that is to become human again. So then if you consider, you know, like in the beginning, I really appreciated how Pearl, you know, made the connection of, you know, like the path that we're on. And we're all born with that connection at our, you know, our nari. I always forget the soft spot where, you know, we're all born with that, and that's our connection to the Milky Way. And then if you keep that connection clear, then you retain, you know, the spirit, you know, the language that the spirits understand, the language that your relatives understand. So then that would be the decolonizing your mouth, your breath. And if you keep moving down that same path, it brings you to your breath and to your lungs and to your, you know, all the issues that come if you have blockages and you're colonized in the way that you're holding that in. And then if you move further down, then you're into your digestion, and then people have all these issues with colonized foods, with living in a colonized system, with trying to eat and use the bathroom on this schedule. Like I say that because I'm a teacher and I only had like 2 minutes and I had to like train my bladder. Anyway, tangent. So then, you know, then you move further down, and then you have you get into like prostrate, is that how you say that? Prostrate issues. Get into uterine issues. You know, you have women with fibroids, women with endometriosis. You have all these issues that happen once this connection has been cut. And you know, that connection was cut. You know, it starts in the hospitals. It starts in, you know, having women not feel their power, having fathers not feel their power, having people not feel their power. And then, you know, like the way the birth is medicalized, I'm going off in tangents, but when we talk about these systems, when we talk about colonization, and we talk about decolonizing our minds, decolonizing our thoughts, and if you just keep going down that path, you know, decolonizing our vaginas, decolonizing our penises, decolonizing, like get away from the taboos and understand that all connection and it's all sacred. And, you know, like we always talk about the breath and how that's sacred. You know, like our vessels to bring life, that's sacred too. But we have all these taboos and all these ideas, and that's because our nahi we've had that disconnect. So I guess I'm just spiraling in this idea that it's all these things that have been blockages that have been cut, and we're forgetting that we're human. So kila kota, the key is to become human again and remember our connection in the entire, from the Milky Way back to the Milky Way, everything. Anyway, end rant. Hey.
Hey. I love it. Thank you.
You know, I like to follow Facebook, and I saw my kola, your dad, on there talking about humans and talking about civilization. And boy, he really struck a chord in me in how true that statement was. And he was very, I guess, explicit in describing what civilization are and who we are as Lakota Dakota and all of the indigenous people on this Makoche Wašte. And geez, I said, I couldn't find it anymore after that. I'm not techno savvy. But, you know, going back to Kelly, and I'm really thankful that you're here with us and you're putting this into practice. And I know that there will be other young women that are coming up that will assume that responsibility of midwife. And it goes back to something that I heard years ago coming from Lekshi Petagi Yohamani. He said, my footsteps only follow the footprints of my destiny. And so when the time has come, and now it's coming, and we are starting to have these things that are essential to our well-being, and all the pieces of the puzzle are being put into place. And it's exciting, girls. It's very, very exciting. I'm just so excited for you guys. And my goal is 84 years old. That's how old Mom was when she made her journey home. So I got about 17 years to go, and I know within that time period that if I make it that far, that I'll see this and see you girls and the young men really developing a healthy Oyate. So I am truly excited. Thank you.
Thank you, Lekshi. Pilamayaya. So this has been really generative and amazing, and I'm feeling all kinds of chills and goosebumps, and thank you all for sharing. I know, just to be mindful of time, it's almost 2 o'clock. If anybody else has anything to share, We would love to hear it. But we're gonna get into, we would like you to do surveys again to help us to make it better. For tomorrow. Tomorrow we'll get into, hopefully you can all attend tomorrow, but also take care of yourselves. You don't, whatever commitments you have already, you don't have to worry about it. But Pearl just now shared the survey down below. If you can click on that.
Can you somebody repeat that? What the little I only follow my footsteps of my destiny. Is that what he said?
Kelly, it's my footsteps only follow the footprints of my destiny.
My steps only follow. Okay. One more time, sorry, because I really loved it.
Okay, my footsteps only follow the footprints of my destiny.
Thank you.
Oh, campaign signs. Just kidding.
Yep. No, I want to make a t-shirt.
Give credit. Just kidding.
I will.
All right.
That was Patraka Yuhamani, right? So Pete catches Lakshi. Is that who said that?
Lakshi Patagani, Pete catches senior. It's from Pine Ridge, Oglala, Lakota.
Thank you, Tanya, for putting it it's in the chat also.
Okay, thank you.
Well, making all your signatures. Just kidding.
Oh, I love that saying.
I know,
awesome.
it's pretty beautiful.
I'll be expecting you to make a sign in the Lakota language so I can hang it in my house while you're having you're going through your little art stuff when when you get all going through all that nesting.
All right, Tasha, if you want to click the next slide, and then if you guys can all fill out the surveys, it just helps us to try to figure out how to continue these gatherings. We have our board on here. Most of them stayed the whole time, and we'll continue to develop this clinic as we go and visit with you all. And hope we'll be back tomorrow at 10 a.m. if you guys can make it. But again, however it works for you, no pressure. This is just, we value and respect whatever time you're able to commit. We love all of you. If you can do the survey, and then Sunshine will do door prizes again because we want to give you guys gifts.
I can do it once. Tasha can screen share, and I'll start doing the wheel. Thank you, Tasha.
Oh, and then whenever we close, I'll just ask my dad again to end with a prayer, if you can, Ate. If he's still here, I didn't even know. Yep, he is. Okay. Okay, after we do the will.
Our first cut today goes to Dorothy.
Oh, lucky. 2 days in a row. And then we're taking out the names, right, for the next one, just so more people.
Okay, so we had call-in user. If you're still here, I was gonna hope that they would unmute. I sent a private message, but
I don't think they're still here.
I'll just re-roll for that one then.
Okay. My name's kind of in there.
All of them, sorry. Looks like Tiffy.
Yay!
And we have 3 more cups. Tammy, is this to me Tammy Birdhorse, maybe?
Yeah,
I think
so.
Yeah.
Yay! And she drinks a lot of coffee.
She said, I know. Okay.
Tea. I think she drinks tea.
Oh yeah, it is.
Your midwife, Jane.
I don't think my name's on there. I think I must be the caller too. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, yesterday, Dusty said her name wasn't on there either. But
Was
okay.
it?
No.
Okay.
We're
I
figuring
can call her right now and just in case, and then if she wins, then she could still count. I didn't realize that. I tried to check a few times.
And then Kelly, your name's not on there, right?
My name's not on there.
Okay, you're on there now.
It's iPhone. And I have another Kelly too. Okay, I'll keep going. Oh, Tasha, do you get to keep a cup or should we keep going? Sorry about that.
No, I don't want it. No, keep going.
Okay.
Yeah, and then I think we were supposed to remove names, right? If they won, did you do that?
I removed the ones from yesterday. So the last cup is Lynette.
So right here, hit remove where it says, see that?
Yeah, that way they don't, because remember, anyways. Sorry, guys, we're figuring out this cool drawing.
So for the traditional food, okay, we're gonna have because Nuno won yesterday. Oh wait, oh it said Renee. Okay. Renee.
I think they can still win today, but just when they win, like if they win a cup, then take them off. That way they, anyways.
Yeah. You mean one of food gifts? Oh no, Jane Young's there. She got a cup, so she's.
Sorry guys, we're a little bit.
Virgil.
Right. And he wants.
These are for this. Okay.
All right.
Coming today. And then the last self-care kit for today. Sorry, I didn't remove it. Okay, Tani, that's the last for this self-care kit. I put the notes in our slideshow.
All right, thank you.
Screen share.
Thank you all. And if you can fill out the surveys, that'd be awesome, just to help us for tomorrow, and to continue to have these gatherings as much as we can. This was really meaningful and generative to all of us, so appreciate you all. Have a good rest of the Saturday, and uŋyúhapi. Oh, wait. Sorry. My dad was going to end with a prayer. I'm really sorry. Just now. Dad. See how I am? Dropping the ball. Dad, are you still on?
He's there, but he's muted.
Just
snoring away.
Sorry, guys. Just let people. Sorry.
Did he get muted again? No. Can't hear him.
You're still muted if you're talking. If you're still there. All right, I can't hear him.
I tried to unmute, but it just asks to unmute.
Okay. Kumi Veronica, could you end us with a prayer? Kumi busy?
Okay.
Ilamaya.
Atakasla, Patakila, Wopula, Kenichapena, Hatchapilla Taku Yoptim, Nayan, Wanach, Unyakapi, Okana Kidlustan the Khan, Katian Kaglabna, Ogoyakapiana, Yuashti, Hatchawopula, Kenichapia, Patuki, Hometaku Wasi.
Pilamaya. All right, we'll see you guys all at 10 in the morning. We'll be back on at 9. If anybody has questions or needs help with anything, we'll be back on.